Good evening, Krista here. I'm doing the video blog on ethical violations and board discipline. I could not find the case decisions or some kind of website for my state in Florida, so I went ahead and looked into North Carolina, where they have a website that has all of the disciplinary actions for counselors in that state. So while looking at the cases that were published, some common themes were informed consent, violating rules regarding email communication, failing to create or maintain records of counseling services, inappropriate sexual conduct, or failing to maintain appropriate boundaries. For the most part, though, a lot seem to be failing to create and maintain records of the counseling services. And then, so with that, there was a lot of counselors being put on probation and requiring them to do more continuing education classes. I was surprised that there were so many cases involving something that seemed so simple and just common sense that you would keep records of all your counseling sessions. But from looking at the website in North Carolina, it was a majority of the cases were for failing to maintain those records. So I chose one that I thought was interesting. It was from July 2019, and this was a licensed professional counselor in North Carolina, and this person provided counseling services at a mental health service practice in North Carolina. And in about September in 2016, the client disclosed to the respondent that she had romantic feelings for him during her counseling session. And then during the time respondent provided counseling services, and the respondent failed to maintain appropriate professional boundaries in that he solicited her to write a testimonial, accepted a gift from her, and extended an agreement about texting with that client. And then in 2017, the client confronted the counselor about the boundary issues and the negative emotional distress that the boundary extensions had on her. And when the client expressed her desire to end the counseling services because she felt that the therapeutic relationship was irreparable, the respondent continued to provide counseling services to her. And during that treatment, the client experienced further emotional distress. The counselor also failed to maintain appropriate and specific documentation of the counseling services and to document any of the boundary extensions. It also says that in the last several of the counselor's notes appeared similar for each session and lacked anything specific to that particular counseling session. The counselor admitted the conduct, and he violated sections A.1.B, A.4.A, A.6.B, A.6.C, B.6.A, and C.3.B of the American Counseling Association Code of Ethics. And for the North Carolina general statutes, he violated statute 90-340, A9 and A10 of the North Carolina Licensed Professional Counselors Act. Also, the board came to the conclusion that the respondent's conduct also violated sections A.1A, A.10.F, A.11.C, and A.11.D, and H.4.F of the Code of Ethics. the final disposition that happened was that they ordered the respondent's license to be on probation for 1 year, or until he successfully completes 10 hours of continuing education coursework in the area of appropriate boundaries with clients, managing transference issues with clients, and record keeping. Also, he has to submit a certificate of completion provided by the continuing education sponsor. He also has to be supervised for a year by a board-approved supervisor for 1 hour of individual face-to-face supervision for every week of counseling practice, regardless of the hours of practice. The counselor must file a supervision contract, and the supervisor must be approved by the board prior to the beginning of supervision. And the supervision contract must be filed with the board office no later than 1 month after this order is signed by the board. Also, the respondent supervisor shall submit quarterly supervision reports with the board at the end of each quarter of supervision, and at the conclusion of the 1 year of supervision, the respondent's board-approved supervisor shall submit a final supervision report to the board, and the counselor must receive at least average ratings from his supervisor on all reports in order to be released from supervision. After all of that is done, the license will be reinstated. So the ACA Code of Ethics states that in C.2.G, impairment counselors monitor themselves for signs of impairment from their own physical, mental, or emotional problems and refrain from offering or providing professional services when impaired. They seek assistance for problems that reach the level of professional impairment, and if necessary, they limit, suspend, or terminate their professional responsibilities until it's determined that they may safely resume their work. And counselors assist colleagues or supervisors in recognizing their own professional impairment and provide consultation and assistance when warranted with colleagues or supervisors showing signs of impairment, and intervene as appropriate to prevent imminent harm to clients. So my question would be, I guess it would be easy to burn out. So, to not miss such what seems to be like by not doing something so simple like keeping records, that to me just feels lazy. What can we do to ensure that we're not going to reach that level of laziness and to just be all in every single counseling session as we should be and according to the Code of Ethics? Anyway, have a good night. Thank you.